but there's other news we got to follow right now. Evan, I know you're working your sources as well. There's troubling new evidence tonight that Kim Jong-un's North Korea is sharing technology that could be used to produce some of the world's most dangerous and illegal weapons of mass destruction. Let's bring in Brian Todd. He's working the story for us. Brian, what are you learning?
Wolf, we know that Kim Jong-un has no conscience when it comes to using chemical weapons. He's used them to kill his own half-brother. Tonight we have new information from sources that Kim has shipped chemical weapons parts and expertise to another leader who has no conscience about using them. New evidence tonight of a sinister partnership between Kim Jong-un and the murderous regime of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. A United Nations source tells CNN North Korea has been sending supplies that could be used to produce chemical weapons to Syria. The source says a new unreleased UN report based on a secret investigation found that parts, including valves and thermometers used to turn those chemicals into deadly bombs, have been shipped by Kim's regime.
It's very alarming because North Korea has the world's largest stockpile of chemical weapons and the technology to produce it, and Syria has repeatedly used chemical weapons and continues to do so against its own people.
The new report also found that North Korean missile technicians have been spotted working at chemical weapons facilities inside Syria.
The North Koreans have unique expertise that could help Syria reconstitute the chemical weapons production capacity that they once had that was destroyed by the UN in 2014. Or they could be helping with missile technology and perhaps a combination.
This wouldn't be the first time North Korea and Syria formed a dangerous alliance. A decade ago, U.S. intelligence officials accused North Korea of helping Syria build a reactor, which could have been used to make nuclear weapons. The Israeli military bombed it. News of the secret UN report comes just as America is losing the key diplomat who manages North Korea policy. Joseph Yun, who brokered the release of dying American student Otto Warmbier from North Korean custody last year, is retiring.
Losing him is a big hit, and it comes at a critical moment. The Olympics have ended, and there's a big question if the U.S. and North Korea are going to be able to find a way to talk to one another.
With Yoon's departure, the U.S. will have no top envoy on North Korea and no U.S. ambassador to South Korea, since the candidacy of Victor Cha was withdrawn in January. The Trump administration said today it would not discuss a timeline to name an ambassador nominee.
Even if the North Koreans did want to talk to us credibly, it's unclear who they would actually be able to talk to that has the endorsement of the president.
Following what some see as diplomatic progress at the end of the Winter Olympics, where Ivanka Trump stood and clapped for athletes from both Koreas, and where North Korean officials said the doors were open for dialogue with the U.S., there are also new threats. Analysts say there are signs of new activity at the site where Kim's regime produces nuclear fuel.
North Korea did wonderful triple axels and smile diplomacy at Pyeongchang, but in reality, they've been working overtime on nuclear and missile programs. And the fear is, and the expectation is, that North Korea will conduct more tests of long-range intercontinental ballistic missiles.
And U.S. officials and outside analysts are specifically worried tonight about the next big phase of Kim Jong-un's weapons program, which could come within months or even weeks. A possible test of a long-range ballistic missile over the Pacific Ocean, a missile with the range to hit the U.S. that could have a mock nuclear warhead on it when it's detonated. Meanwhile, Wolf, we've got no immediate response from the North Korean and Syrian missions to the UN to that report that North Korea has shipped chemical weapons parts to Syria. Wolf.
Very disturbing information indeed. Brian, thank you very much. Brian Todd reporting. Coming up,